Hello and welcome. This is Spirit Bird, founder of Holton Healing Arts Shaman School. I'm really excited to tell you about a special offer that I have, and I'll give you some more information about that at the end of the call. But today I wanted to share with you one of the things that really got me going in my healing work. So I started out really just interested in personal reasons and for personal healing work, to receive my own personal healing work and to navigate my own spiritual journey. And as I started to do that more and more, I learned that I actually liked practicing some of these tools with other people just for my own learning and just for my own personal healing, right? And so, one of the things that was the most important for me to develop my confidence as a practitioner was repetition. So I did tons of sessions with other people, and specifically and especially with other practitioners, other people who were also learning and also practicing this work, so that I could build my confidence. And again, not that I was practicing so I could build my confidence. I was practicing because I really loved giving and receiving healing work. And it's especially important to practice with other practitioners, because if you are just learning and if you're new to actually offering this work, it's really important to have that kind of agreement and not be practicing on people who, one, either don't have an understanding of what this work is and that you are practicing, and two, that you aren't working with close friends and family, because we often have a lot of entanglement with those people, and it can be really tricky to facilitate clean healing work with people that we're heavily involved with. So that being said, the other part that really helped me as a practitioner was being really clear for myself with who I wanted to work. Who did I want to work with? And why? Like, what am I even helping them with? Right. So when I started working, like actually offering healing work to the general public, I mean, I went in stages where I only did this work with other practitioners or with, friends or people that were volunteered to let me practice on them. And then from there, I started to receive word of mouth recommendations. So I was working with people I didn't know through word of mouth. And then when I actually became forward facing and had a formal offer, I very quickly realized that if I don't have a preference on who I want to work and what I want to help them with, then I will get whoever. And whoever isn't always the best fit for me or the best fit for them. So if I'm doing a session with people who aren't a good fit for me, I'm not really going to feel great about how it's going. And then it becomes counterproductive, because even if I'm making money, if I'm not really excited about offering this work and actually really challenged by it, then I'm not doing positive, clean, powerful healing work. Right. And what I found, and if you find yourself in that situation, and a lot of new practitioners do, whether they, take a weekend workshop or they learn something new and they want to try it out. And so they're just excited to have a client. And so they take whoever, shows up, and then they don't have a great experience. And then we as practitioners usually will go inward and judge ourselves or make a story about what happened, and make it all about how we messed up. So again, super common. So if you decide, if you're working this way, what I recommend is trying to switch your frame from judging or reflecting on sessions one at a time to giving yourself a really long timeline before you actually make a judgment about yourself, about the work you should be doing, and about who you should be helping. Because if you decide you're either good or bad or should or shouldn't be doing this work after every single session based on how it went and based on your immediate reaction, you're going to be swinging really hard back and forth. So instead, let your belief build over time. Think of athletes. They don't decide they're bad at sports when they have one bad game. They get back in there. So getting out of the all or nothing mentality was a huge mindset shift for me. And that helps me continue to move through my self-doubts. Also understanding that even just a single healing session also develops over time. So even though I might meet with somebody for one session, just because we hang up the phone doesn't mean that session's over. And we will likely be unwinding different parts of what we've learned from the session, both as the client and the practitioner. So if I make a judgment about what happened or didn't happen in that session, I'm actually closing the opportunity for the healing to complete itself. Right? So this is important. These are all important ways and parts of moving through self-doubt and also actually being a good practitioner, because we can tell ourselves we're confident, but we also need to really believe that we're actually really good practitioners. And a lot of practitioners end up taking a weekend class. They do like a couple Reiki classes, or they take like one weekend workshop, or they're, reading different books. And they think that that one weekend workshop has them be qualified to be a healer. And I'm not saying that you're not qualified or you're not good, but you're not going to have the full confidence and embodiment of all of the things that come up during healing work until you actually really get practice doing this, like regular repeated practice in safe space. Right. And so what happens here also is we take a course, or we read a book, or we decide we want to do a thing, which is awesome. Like making that decision is actually something you should really celebrate, because it's a big step. It's a really big step. So if you've already done that, give yourself some gratitude. And what happens next is a lot of practitioners take a little course and then they put up a website and they think that that's their business. But actually your business is created from within you. It's not, has nothing to do with buying the storefront or buying the retreat center or renting a space or putting up a website. It has to do with your complete clarity about who you are, what you do, and how you help people. And I realized that as well, that it wasn't that I needed a pretty website or great pictures or a huge following on Instagram. I had to be totally confident in my belief in my healing gifts. I had to know my purpose, and I also had to learn how to catch myself when I got out of alignment, or catch myself when I fall into fearing what other people might think or other people's reaction to me and what I'm offering. I had to know how to navigate this step, the up into offering my work in a bigger way. And same thing, no amount of marketing or viral video will do that for me. That was all about myself and my alignment and my inner work, right? I had to learn to listen to my higher self instead of overriding the things I think or thought that I should do. Whenever you find yourself thinking, I should do this, this usually is ego, right? And oftentimes we honor the ego over our higher self because it makes sense, but the ego is also trying to keep us separated, right? I also had to learn to listen to timing and wait for spirit to point me to when I should do something or when a thing was ready to happen, not just what works on my calendar. I had to learn to listen for that timing, what that inner knowing sounds and feels like, but also I had to learn to honor it, right? And I'm still learning that one. And then I had to get really honest about what scares me. Like, what if this works? What if I am successful? We have to be honest with ourselves about being afraid of being successful. We have to be honest with ourselves about being afraid of change. And we create the bridge for what we want by getting clear on our vision and what it would feel like to be experiencing that vision, to be in it, for it to be real, right? And then practicing imagining that and seeing it every day so that your nervous system can get used to even the idea of it. If you're working to grow your spiritual business or grow your spiritual gifts, first you need some basic experience, and you definitely need experience in a long-term course, not just a class here and there or books, or hopping around from one small program to the next. I mean, I definitely encourage you to explore different types of work and different types of people. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to be really serious about really growing your gifts, the best advice that I can give to you is pick one program and focus on it and stay in that and stay committed to that. Once you move through that work, that can help you integrate all of your different modalities and help you have a clean, clear understanding of how to work with your unique gifts, then you can begin to offer your work. Or offer the next iteration of your work if you're already practicing. So if that's where you're at, the first thing you need an offer. You need to know what it is that you do and how you help people. Before you build a website, before you buy a building, you need to know specifically, it's not just healing, right? Like specifically, how do you help people? Specifically, what do you help them do? You need to test your offer. Do people want it? And of course, your offer can and will change over time. So you don't need to know how your group program is going to be or what your courses are going to be or how it's even going to work. You just want to know what excites you the most, what would excite you the most to help somebody with, right? And then as you continue to test and offer different things, you can tweak it over time. And then from there, once you have an offer that is working, from there, your job is to continue to work on your confidence and your embodiment and your alignment and listening to your higher self for when it's time to make changes. And that's what the work really is continuing to stay in alignment with what it is that you offer, learning to see when you're out of alignment and bringing yourself back. I hear a lot from people that, oh, you seem really confident when you speak, or man, you're so thick-skinned. It seems like you don't care what people think about you, or you look so confident. And you have to know that I worked really hard. I worked very hard at that. And I'm not like through it either. I definitely get into self-doubt. I definitely get paranoid. I definitely get into traps and distortions. And not that long ago, I was terrified of my gifts. I was terrified of coming forward. I was terrified to even say that I was a healer. I had so much built up, so much story built up around what that meant or why you should or shouldn't do it or what people will think if you do it, right? Let alone build a business that supports the lifestyle I want and allows me to work with the people that I love working with, right? It wasn't that long ago that even that terrified me. I couldn't even imagine it. Couldn't even actually imagine it. I knew I wanted it, but I couldn't even actually imagine it, right? But I did know that I wanted it. And I knew that it doesn't happen. It doesn't just happen without me stepping forward and saying yes. And the same is true for you. You might find yourself courting a deeper level of your business, or stepping more fully into your spiritual gifts and bringing that into your business. And it doesn't happen without you saying yes. It doesn't just get handed to you. And it doesn't come at convenient time. It's not something that you save up for. You say yes, and then the rest falls into place, So if you're ready to step into your spiritual gifts and elevate your business and stop hiding who you are from the world, you're invited to my live event, The Path of the Shamanic Healer. So this is a live half-day online workshop where you'll learn about the healer's path, how to move through your 4 core permission blocks as a healer. Plus, I'm offering a super special bonus. It's a Discover Your Magic Gifts call with me. So that is a one-on-one call with me that's included. I don't give those out lightly, so definitely take advantage of that. And we'll be looking at your higher purpose and your unique gifts, the unique gifts that you are here to teach. The link for my live event, Path of the Shamanic Healer, of course, is in the bio, or send me a message if you'd like to learn more. Thanks for joining me today.